Awakening is my favourite Zelda game and even has my favourite 2D Zelda boss. However, it is still known for its mini-bosses. Now these underrated enemies are very creative, unique, and none of them are actually bad, but some don't interest me or are fun like others. In this video, I'm going to talk about my top 5 mini-bosses in The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. This list is judged on difficulty, concept, design, nostalgia, and how much fun they've been since my first playthrough of Link's Awakening for Switch. Also, you fight some mini-bosses multiple times in the game, but they will all count as one mini-boss. Also, some mini-bosses received new names in the Link's Awakening remake for Switch, so I will talk about how fitting I think they are for those mini-bosses with new names compared to their previous ones. And one last thing, don't forget to subscribe, like and hit the notification bell right now. So with that out of the way, let's start ranking. Eagle's Tower has become my favourite Zelda dungeon, and partly because of the Grim Creeper. He may not be polite, but he's still a fun mini-boss. Instead of attacking him, you need to take down 6 flying bugs to defeat him. If you fail to do this in a fight against him, then he will tell you how to defeat him. But it is when you see him again, which is why he's on the list, because from what he said after he was defeated, made me think that I would see him again in the final dungeon. But he instead appears when you are about to fight the evil eagle, the boss of Eagle's Tower, and in fact he rides it. So you could say it's the surprise I had from the Grim Creeper that makes him one of my favourite Zelda mini-bosses. So the number 5 spot goes to the Grim Creeper. Next is the Spike Roller. However, in the versions that came before Link's Awakening for Switch, they were called Rolling Bones. You fight one in Turtle Rock and the other in Tail Cave. Now they may be easy, but I like their design and concept. What they do is roll a spiked pillar on the floor back and forth, which I probably like due to it being unique. And about their names, well, I think the new one is better being Spike Roller, as it makes more sense, as it looks more like it's rolling a spike pillar than bones, or anything made of bones. Inside of the dungeon, Turtle Rock, there is a mini-boss you fight only once in the game. This time you will be fighting Blaino, a boxing mini-boss. Obviously, he will try to punch you and will come towards you quickly to damage you. And from my examination, if you are far enough, you can get stunned by him. But he has another punch move where he winds up an attack, and then punches you sometimes, knocking you out of the boss room, again depending on the distance between you and him. The first time I fought Blaino, he really proved himself, as he was pretty much pounding me and I was even punched out of the room, and that was a good part of Zelda. So this time you could say that it was the surprise I got from Blaino that makes him one of my favourite Zelda mini-bosses. At first, not a lot of Link's Awakening mini-bosses really interested me, but one really did. He's not found in any of the main dungeons, but he still takes number 2, and without further ado, it's Chief Moblin, or as he was originally called, King Moblin. What he will do is throw spears that move faster than the regular enemy Moblins, and charge at you. Either he will stop before he hits a wall, or he just bangs right into a wall for you to then damage him. Not only is he fun, but also difficult, and when it comes to his names, I think that neither of them are actually bad. In my opinion, both names work. So now let's move on. You've seen most of the list, but now is the honourable mentions time to shine. So in no particular order, let's talk about 5 more favourites. Now the first 3 mini boss fights we're going to talk about are all here because they are so much fun. These are Yanmola, Goma and Cuball/Hydrosaura. Since they are here for the same reason, I won't talk about their boss fights, but I will talk about what I think about Hydrosaur's names. So I think the original name, Cuball, didn't make sense. This boss doesn't look like a ball, and it runs around in a rectangle, not a cube, or a line as you would say in English. Cuball's new name, Hydrosaura, also doesn't make complete sense. The Hydro part of the name isn't 100% accurate because of the fact that you fight this mini boss in a fire dungeon, where there's nothing Hydro. Also, this mini boss looks like it's quickly crawling on the floor, not soaring. Next up is Master Stalfos. What he will do is try to jump on you, hit you with his sword and block attacks with his shield. To hurt him, you will need to hit him with either your sword or boomerang to make him collapse so you can blow him up with a bomb. This mini boss added difficulty and the design of Master Stalfos is good, but he's the main reason why Catfish's Maw is one of my favourite Zelda dungeons. Like I said before, he retreats to another part of the dungeon you fight him in. Well, you need to go round Catfish's Maw to defeat him to receive the hook shot, which is my favourite Zelda item, and the item needed to complete the dungeon you fight Master Stalfos in. Because of Master Stalfos, Catfish's Maw has become one of my favourite Zelda dungeons, and things were done right when making this cool part of the dungeon. So you may be wondering why he's not on the list. Well, when I first entered Catfish's Maw, I didn't really find him fun. I think it's because I wasn't letting myself enjoy the fight, so he ends up being my 10th favourite mini-boss in Link's Awakening. Our last honourable mention is the Stone Hinox/Avalanche. What he will do is move left, right, forwards and backwards, and jumps on the spot where he was when you first enter the room with him in, causing rocks to fall and come towards Link. Avalanche can be hurt by anything that can damage enemies, however not all attacks work all the time depending on where you hit him. These are boomerangs and sword strikes. He's a fun mini boss and his design interested me when I first saw it. And for his names, well, I think it's good for him not to have the same attacks as the other Hinoxes, but he doesn't look like a Hinox. They got the stone part right though. His new name, Avalanche, doesn't completely make sense either. What it seems is that they combined the words avalanche and launch. I see where the other part comes in, but where did the launch appear? Turtle Rock has been talked about multiple times when making this video, and you've seen what it looks like from the inside, but the winner of this top 5 is actually Turtle Rock itself. What you need to do is use bombs on its head, which isn't easy as it will move the bombs away. If it moves away before it gets blown up, and you can even blow yourself up with your own bombs. Turtle Rock will try to headbutt you, and if it misses, it will bump into one of the corners of the arena, giving you the chance to attack it. After hurting it 3 times, Turtle Rock will be able to take damage without bombs, but it will keep its head higher from the ground. However, it will still use the same tactics from before. I couldn't remember one reason why I like this mini-boss, but I think it's because it's not just a fight where you continue to hit it and that's it. There's more other concepts going on, and another reason why I decided to put it on the number 1 spot is because of the intro theme. So this fight's fun, difficult, has a good intro, and you don't just attack it. Turtle Rock is the winner of this top 5. So what are your favourite mini-bosses in Link's Awakening? Tell me in the comments. Like this video, and if you haven't subscribed, do it now. Also, it may have sounded as if I liked or I was upset about the names of the mini-bosses I've talked about. So remember that the names don't affect my interest on any of the mini-bosses in Link's Awakening. And have a nice day!